Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My lovely sisters on this path, in the name of God, seeking a relationship with our Creator, seeking guidance, help to use the time, the very limited transient time that was given to us in this space, in this universe, university, palace is another word that was given to us recently, to discover this relationship, like Inaba often says, to receive guidance, what the Qur'an claims itself to be, to help me further deepen, grow, become more intimately connected to this real relationship. So mashallah, I was reading or receiving revelation rather in these ayats, and I just wanted to share it. Inshallah, I hope that these Quran Gem sessions could be very short and brief, and then have a little discussion after. So we're in the final blessed nights, and we know that the Ramadan is given to us as a prescription. It's prescribed. And every medicine that's given as a prescription, it has a cause, like it has a reason that it's prescribed, the mechanism of action. So for Ramadan, its purpose is to discover deeper who we are, and then through that, discover who our Creator is, God consciousness. If we can leave these blessed days with a greater sensation, like a perceptive awareness, a little bit of a deeper knowing of how to lean into this relationship, to know this being a little bit closer so that I could trust him a little bit more, then we have successfully participated in the prescription in a way that we've benefited. So I ask Allah to allow us to engage in the remaining days and to receive consciousness of him, a consciousness that will last and grow deeper in the days following until inshallah we're blessed with the next Ramadan. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Surah Taha 20, which we discussed in our Ramadan feast, which I'll see if I can link the Receiving Nur session that we had together, which I also referenced this beautiful surah. Ayah 43 says, اذهبا إلى فرعون إنه طغى. Go to اذهبا, go both of you to Fir'aun, to Pharaoh. Indeed, he has transgressed. So we know that Pharaoh is this oppressive figure. So then everyone right now, you go to the voice of oppression in your life, the voice of forceful pressure, the voice of the voice that speaks to you when you think of this character of Pharaoh. And then the guidance is when there's someone presented to you in this life that has this sort of forceful attitude, this tyrannical attitude towards you, look at what the Creator says to do next. فَقُولَا لَهُ قَوْلًا لَيِّنًا. And speak to him a word that is gentle. This already occurred to me because I'm like, that's certainly not what I do. Even if it's just the mental chatter in my head of what I want to say to these people, gentleness is definitely not what occurs to me. And I just thought it was so beautiful that guidance to me is to say a word that is gentle. لَعَلَّهُ يَتَذَكَّرُ أَوْ يَخْشَى. Perhaps, and this is like teaching us now the adab of compassionate communication, right? Which a few of us have been on board with. Perhaps he might take the reminder, يتذكر, he might be reminded, أو يخشى, This translation unfortunately says fear. I'm pretty sure. Oh, here it is. This translation, or feel some awe, behave with humility. And I just wanted to pause there because I'm like, if I look at the people who I feel did me wrong and what words I would want to share with them, it comes exactly from the ego. I'm hurt because you hurt me. And now it's like, I want you to feel that. But look at what the guidance of Ar-Rahman is, the most merciful, the most compassionate, the most loving. Say something to them so either that they're reminded of me or they might have some humility or awe of me. And it reminds me of how, like, I heard once, like when people are arguing, like the spouses or whatever, somebody says, like, ittaqillah, like have consciousness of God. Let's just pause right here. And that is like not like a fear check, but almost like, okay, pause. We need to remember who we're dealing with in our relationship with one another. Now, this is the part I really wanted to get to. That's just the context. قال ربنا. This is how like real, raw Musa alayhi salam is extremely real, raw, vulnerable with the relationship and the bond with his Rabb, his sustainer. And it's such a good example for me. I peace and blessings upon Musa and all messengers. He's very relatable. His first thing was like when God's like, all right, go to Pharaoh and tell him something gentle. So he's imagining the situation like, okay, I just heard what you told me to do. His first response is, قال ربنا إننا نخاف. Like, ربنا, we're scared. إننا نخاف. Indeed, like we're scared. We're really afraid of doing that. Like, I know you just told us to do that, but I'm just letting you know, I feel scared. And it's not just I feel scared, it's innana, like indeed, we feel afraid, fear. It's not like, oh, we're not supposed to fear anybody but God. Like, look at how real and raw that is. I'm scared. And it goes exactly with our CPR that we've been learning, which I'll also inshallah link. The first step in our healing our hearts is really being honest with what we feel, being honest with ourselves, being honest with our creator. He's like, we're scared, we're afraid. And how many times have you said that to God in a situation where you feel afraid? It's like often almost we mask it because it's like, I gotta do this. And that masking is covering up the truth, covering up the truth of the feeling. He's not covering up like, okay, I'll go. He's like, we're afraid. And I love that. Let's pause there. إننا نخاف أن يفرط علينا أو أن يطغى. That he might be quick to harm us or he'll transgress against us. Well, he has a reputation. He's often doing that to people. I'm scared. I feel afraid. And I just love how real, raw, and vulnerable that is. He feels and he immediately acknowledges the feeling, doesn't cover the feeling, is 100 with the feeling, clear, feels it without judgment, and says it straight to God. We're afraid.
That he's in conversation with his Lord. That means that he must be at a state of witnessing that's very clear that he has a Rabb, and yet he still has fear. So this is very profoundly clarifying for us about how we're created.
Beautiful, Inaba, how we're created and how to keep it real with ourselves and God. This is a messenger of God. It's not like he's like, oh no, we're not supposed to feel fear. We're supposed to be brave and courageous representatives of we're if he is not the best example of what it is to be a human being in what the Quran narrates to us about Musa, he is like so human, so relatable, and a messenger and chosen to be. This is highlighting our potential. Musa is me. I am Musa. You are Musa. Khitam, Sahara. We are Musa. Musa is our example. He is used in the Quran as guidance for me, as my example. I am afraid. I am filled with fear that he might harm us. Look, that he might harm us. Okay, let's go translate this to again in the Islam Awakened. We fear that he would act hastily with regard to us, or he continued to transgress all bounds of equity. So it's like, okay, then he even is showing us that sometimes we think people are the doers. It's like, God, I know you're telling me what to do and I know you're in control, but what if he hurts me? What does that tell you too? That we often forget that people can't do anything to us except what God wills. And this is a messenger.
And he's in direct conversation right now with his Lord. I mean, it's just even more, it's even more telling to like how much we are perpetually in this situation. I mean, and that is our true state. We equal fear of that which, you know, has no power. That is our true ego state.
Beautiful. Yes. Inaba, perfect. Perfect. That is our true state that we always come back to. It's like, okay, and this is after the whole conversation that we talked about. You know what's funny is that this is after the whole conversation that happens that we talked about, where God tells him, I am your Rabb. I chose you. Yani, worship me. Don't for like, I'm always with you. This whole conversation that happened. And then he's like, I'm afraid that he might hurt me. Is this the ayah that we're on? Okay, it's here.
But he's already showed him miracles. He has already turned the staff into a snake.
Exactly, Inaba. Perfect. So everybody take a deep breath. This journey is one that requires that endurance, that patience with ourselves, first and foremost. This is a process. We are learning the process. God already had this incredible, intimate conversation with Musa. I chose you. I'm with you. Remember, I've always had your back. Remember, I've always been with you. Remember, I've always showed you my tender love. And then when he's like, all right, now go to Musa, go to Fir'aun, he's like, I'm afraid. What if he hurts me? So relatable. And now think about the places that you avoid or the conversations that you avoid because you think people are going to hurt you or harm you or transgress you. What does God say? His response, ba. Ayah 46. قال لا تخافا. قال لا تخافا. He said, don't be scared. Fear not. Don't fear. Have no fear. إنني معكما أسمع وأرى. This is where we pause. إنني. This is a very strong emphasis. It's verses in me, and I'm going to go back to my Qur'an feast. The first time God says, when he says, Ya Musa, he calls them to that burning bush. which we liken to that feeling that calls my attention. God says, Inni ana. Indeed, I am your Rabb. Inni, not innani. When does he say innani? When he tells Musa, I have chosen you, so listen closely to what I'm going to say to you. He says, listen closely to what I'm going to tell you. The following ayah says, innani, the emphasis, that double emphasis. Verily, I alone am Allah. Innani and Allah. So we know that the innani is meant to be a very strong emphasis. Innani ma'akuma. How does he calm the fear? When Musa presents with fear, what's the immediate reply? When he says, I feel afraid, what's the immediate reply? Innani, which again is a very strong emphasis. Verily, indeed, I alone, I, indeed, innani ma'akuma. I am with you both. As if that's not enough, I am with you. And you go back to the crying child. I'm afraid. What do you say? Mama's here. Mama's with you. And immediately that is sufficient for the child to feel calm. My mom is here, the one who takes care of me, who gives me what I need. She's with me. The child calms down. But he gives them even more emphasis. He says, Asma'u wa ara. I hear, I'm listening, and I see. Hearing and seeing with you. So we pause there. What does it mean for me? In my situation where I feel afraid to either have a conversation, to go somewhere, to be in the presence of certain people. And the first step is to just be totally real with that fear. Yeah, we feel afraid. Yeah. We're afraid because we think these people are going to do something harmful to us. And then his response, don't be afraid. I am with you. I see and I hear. Why tell me that you see and you hear? Every step of the way, what you're saying inside of your chest, what you're feeling, the silent whispers, the silent worries, I hear that. And I hear what they're saying in their chest and what they're saying out loud too. And I'm with you. Not I'm with them, I'm with you. I hear what's happening. And I see. What does it mean, I see? I see you. I see you is not just I see you with my eyes. I see you, what you're going through. I see all of you, how you feel. I see what everybody's doing, inside and outside. And it's enough for me to tell you that I'm with you. That's enough for you. That's enough for you to know not to be scared. When you know that I'm with you and I hear, I'm listening to everything going on in you, without, yani out of you, inside everybody else and what they're saying, and I see you completely and I see what everybody else is doing, it's enough for me to tell you I'm with you. So don't be scared. If I felt this cloak, like I was wearing a big cloak, And it's tangible. Yani, I feel it on my body of a one that I'm dressed in, that's with me. It's like that cloak would make you feel like a superhero, would it not? It would make you feel invincible. If you walked somewhere and if you know somebody said, look, Inaba, if you wear this cloak right here, if you wear this robe, Allah, it's like you're connected like the FBI, like there's those earpieces. He sees everything and he knows everything and he hears everything, he sees everything and he's with you. You would walk up in that place like, who wants it? I got extra backup. We're good. We're safe here. No reason to fear. And this is not just like the FBI that's in another room or something like that. This is like Lord of the heavens and the earth, the infinite power, the only reality that's telling you, I'm with you. I hear and I see. So don't fear. Fear not. La takhafa. There's no reason. La takhafa means there's no reason to feel fear. So when you get that guidance, what can that fear do? It can leave now. It can just disappear. Why? It served its purpose. It told me that I was afraid of people hurting me. And when that fear came and told me the message, I'm afraid that people are going to hurt me, my Lord responded very quickly because I presented that fear with total honesty. And then he responds. And that is the benefit of keeping it real with yourself, keeping it real with God. Because you cannot receive revelation unless you're keeping it real with your feelings, feeling them 100% without masking them, feeling bad. Oh, I feel bad. I'm afraid. I'm supposed to be a believer. I feel bad for feeling guilty. I feel bad for feeling judgmental. I feel bad for feeling envy. I feel bad for feeling. You're the human being. You're the one who receives feelings. Feelings are sent to you. Your job is to see, check the feeling, be conscious of it, notice what it is. What are you feeling? In this case, afraid. Prostrate, P, CPR, P, like, I can't help myself. I can't be the one to guarantee these people can't hurt me. I'm needy. So what does he do? He turns that name to his Rab, R, retreat. He says, Rabbana, he runs to Rab. R is retreat, run to the name you need. Rabbana, our guardian. Like the child who runs to mom, we're afraid. It's scary. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. I'm going to pause here and open it up for any questions, comments.
Please speak up, ladies. I mean, I will talk. I will. But if anybody else wants to say something, please share immediately. I want to hear your reflections. I mean, subhanAllah, this was a very needed message. It was perfectly related to what I needed to receive today. What do I fear that I, don't want to go speak to? Well, that's both on the inside and on the outside. There's examples in my life. On the outside, I am fearful of speaking to my employment. I am fearful of speaking to my husband about my needs, about in fact, I do speak with him, but I'm fearful about sort of going forth with my needs without his approval. And I'm also fearful on the inside of, my own depression and the ways in which my sleep disturbance affects my mental and physical well-being. I'm afraid of going there, and because maybe I don't know what to say to it. And so I'm given an opportunity here to invite in gentleness into whatever it is that I say to it. The gentleness will not be mine when I say it. The gentleness will be his attribute and me experiencing it. So imagine if I you know, give myself a loving embrace in words and even in action today. What if I take care of myself with the things that I know are good to take care of oneself with, like prayer and exercise and emotional freedom technique and reflection and taking a walk or doing anything like that. All of that is demonstrating like gentleness towards myself. And all of that gentleness is his attribute, and it's all his word being told be, and it is. When I say yes to Shifa, when I say yes to gentleness, that means I'm saying yes to him saying be gentle in my own life. And so I get to experience that and benefit from it and heal with it, heal with his name of gentleness. And then as the guidance continued, it was also very healing to have the emotional freedom to say, I'm just scared. I'm just scared that I'm really that I'm worthless. I'm scared that I'm not capable of this. I'm scared that I'm deeply flawed, or whatever it is that's our most our nightmare that we have, that we hide inside of ourselves. And the fact that he so then when I really now am coming to despise the English translations, because when they add the Allah reassured them part, it really takes away the immediate connection between the admission of being afraid and the immediate answer, which is have no fear, I am with you, hearing and seeing. So it's like those two go together in the way that we have learned. Abd Rab, needy, powerless, fully abundant, and fully powerful. Those two are a formula that go together. There's no separation between them. And this ayah shows that in the English, of course, because they're inserting Allah reassured them, comma, quote, like it's totally disconnecting the two. Whereas in reality, there is no separation between my weakness and his power, my need and his abundance. If I am needy, I am, then he is fully abundant. And then fully hearing and seeing. And it's like this formula, man, I wish I could just like breathe it into my entire being and let it infiltrate me and redefine my cellular DNA. I wish that were like the case, so that if you are fearful, Rub. That means Rub. That equals powerful Rub. There is no separation between those two. And then guess what? You're going to realize, yeah, that is my state. That he truly is my creator. He knows exactly how I'm created. And then that will be extra reassurance that my neediness equals his abundance. And just to be heard and seen, it's so like, this is such a, we would think that it's ironic that, oh, modern psychologists always talk about the need to be heard and seen, and how this is like what every human has this need, and like when they don't feel this way, so many different mental illnesses and even great pathologies, like people who would actually hurt other people just because of a need to be heard and seen. And but it's so amazing how, like, right here in his revelation, this is not ironic, this is proof This is proof. This is more and more of his generous handing out, just generously handing out evidence of like, let you know that being heard and seen is the human need. Everybody knows it, whether or not you believe in God or not. And here I am telling you, you're weak equals I am hearing you and seeing you. You're fearful equals I am hearing you and seeing you. Whatever feeling you have equals I am hearing you and seeing you. So, alhamdulillah. Thank you, Sarah.
MashaAllah, beautiful reflections, Inaba. Jazakallah khair for sharing, and you're very welcome. I'm grateful to share. Absolutely. And I would just add, like, your fear is always heard and seen, but you only receive the reassurance when you turn it back to Rabb. Because he says in the 45, Rabbana. It's not like, oh, husband, I'm afraid. Oh, within myself, sitting in my room, like, oh my God, I'm so scared. What's going to happen? There's a need to turn to a conscious direction. And oftentimes we call this qibla, metaphorically, the direction of prayer. You cannot stand up to perform the ritual prayer until you first set your direction. And that direction symbolizes in my life, in these feelings, in this universe, I can either be facing creation as it is, my feeling, the people, or I can be facing God, which is something that Inaba brought to our attention recently. Who do I choose to face in these situations? The face that points to creation, the feeling itself, and then going, like, as soon as I feel feeling, say, okay, let me go see what my spouse thinks, or let me go, that's not the first line of action. You feel a feeling that was sent to you by the creator of that feeling. And if you're conscious, if you're aware, then when I feel the feeling, I turn it back, or like the Qur'an says, give it back, sell it back to God, your Rabb, your sustainer, your cherisher, your guardian. So when you turn that feeling, immediately, when you set your direction and you keep it real with your feeling, like Inaba said, your fear is his strength, your fear is his power, and it's right away, it's instantaneously. You share the feeling to him, he gives you the response. But the prerequisite is, am I doing it out of a place of prostration? Like, I'm feeling afraid and I'm turning to you. All of that fear, I'm turning it 100% to you. And when you do that turning, when you become aware that this feeling was sent to me, I have no ability over it. So I go to the one who's all able and I turn my total attention there. Then I receive that response. You're seen, you're heard, you're safe, I'm with you. Which is different than going to other people, being let down again, and then being in this little vicious cycle where I feel like I need to seek the causes. Like, I'm extremely tired, I'm exhausted, I fear that I'm like this, so let me sleep more, let me change my schedule. Where was God in that whole thing? That's me running after the causes or running in a vicious cycle that just ends up hurting me. Until, of course, then even the vicious cycle is a mercy, because then each time that it hurts, it's a reminder that I need to pause and change something. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair, Inaba, for sharing that. Instantaneously, when I feel the fear and I turn it to my Rabb, I turn it to my sustainer, then immediately I receive reassurance. It's a relationship it's truly one to discover, one to desire, especially feeling seen and heard and knowing that this one is with me. If he's with me, just think about it. Someone walking with you, right? Like they say, walk by faith, not by sight. What does it mean? To walk with this. Imagine walking with this. Inni ma'akum, innani, not even inni, innani ma'akuma. I am with you. Indeed, I am with you. Any other comments? I'll just pause the recording now. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Anyone who benefits, I ask to pray for my brother. رب اغفر لنا وارحمنا وانت خير الراحمين اغفر لي ولأخي وانت أرحم الراحمين. May this be in his scale of good deeds. May Allah accept it as his Ramadan gifts that keep on giving. May Allah, Allahumma innaka afuwan kareemun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna, pardon us all for forgetting to turn to you and help us discover by your guidance, most merciful of the merciful, your attributes, and help us feel with the clearest perception, with the highest resolution, with a tangible sensation that indeed you are with us, hearing and seeing, and you never leave, the eye that never sleeps. All praise and thanks is due to you, and infinite peace and infinite blessings on the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam and all messengers, including Musa, and all messengers who came to be our teachers, teaching us through ourselves. Thank you, Allah, for this Qur'an. Thank you, God, for this Qur'an. And thank you for this blessed month to feel totally needy as a reminder of who you are to us. Allahumma Ameen. Alhamdulillah. See you guys next time. Bi'idhnillahi rahman. And now I can